My name is Richard Bantegi. Some of the people may know me as Filthierich. I currently reside in Northern California, San Jose, and I'm an employee of Namco Bandai Games. So far, so good. It's not over. There's been a lot of hype matches. I really like it over here because there's a lot of hype and attention and love for Tekken. And you know, since Tekken Tag Tournament 2 just came out, being able to see everybody's different types of skill level, not only for American players, but for international players, is my favorite thing so far. It went really good, man. I think there's some things I need to let go of in terms of playing, because I wish I could put in more time to winning. But I think all in all, just being with the people, playing with them, interacting, getting in that competitive mind state was my biggest thing. I love that part. Atlanta's the home of Tekken for many reasons. Number one, I think it was the birthplace for a lot of the top players who are now veterans, or you know, legends, if you'd like to call them that. You know, players like Harari or players like JOP. But basically, it's a place that just embraces the whole competitive mindset for people who do play Tekken and 3D games. You know, it's on the mainstream. It has a large portion of the show floors anytime and every time they have their events. And you know, it's definitely one of their more focused games when they talk about Final Round. And not only that, but the people who come from here are the evangelists of the Tekken community who just try to do big things. They do their best to communicate, you know, what makes Tekken really cool. And they also kind of share the story of why we should play Tekken. So, I mean, in a sense, I feel like they have earned the title of being able to call themselves the house for Tekken. And that's it. I am the Namco Bandai Games community strategist. It basically entails, you know, having a dipping in responsibilities for a lot of different groups. But what I try to do is figure out like what type of content can I create for fans of all of our games, not just fighting games, that can keep them interested for that particular game. You know, whether it's creating videos, tutorials, walkthroughs, or just sharing tweets, updates from the developer team. Anything to create that type of content, but also bridge the gap between the people who make the game and the people who play the game. So I try to find different ways and tactics, try to differentiate the differences between games and their communities, but at the end have the same goal, or that one goal of bringing the fans what they want. I mean, prior to Namco, I was working at other video game publishing companies, but no matter what I did, I always had that special love for Namco. So even if I was working at another place, I would go to Tekken tournaments, or I would try my best to communicate to people in the community, whether it's like activating people on forums, like talking to people on forums, you know, populating our forum with like strategies and stuff like that, participating in these events, and just doing my best to try to help out, share the message back to a lot of the bigger guys in Namco. So whether it's like sharing advice or just like notes, tips and things that I hear from the community back to people like Harada-san, you know, Michael Murray, people who are, you know, in deep on the Tekken development team, but also with Namco. And you know, one thing led to another. I was able to meet them, I was introduced to them, I was able to work on some other stuff outside of Namco that involved them, and just took a shot. So one thing led to another. I got really lucky. I want to say that 99% of it was all luck, and that 1% was me doing everything that I do. Basically, it's, you know, doing my best to understand what people are saying in the community, and it's having open eyes and open ears on every avenue that provides the people who play the game a place to talk. You know, some people don't post in forums and they only do YouTube videos. Some people don't mess with Facebook and only communicate through Twitter, or just talk about their games on Twitter. I think it takes a lot of work to be able to understand every aspect and recognize every aspect of like where people talk about it, and then just communicate accordingly. Like, you know, everything needs to be addressed as its own. Like every platform needs its own different type of strategy and way for me to talk to them. And I think at the end of the day, it's also just being honest and letting them know that, you know, all the messages and everything that I do is from a gamer standpoint, because I play these games, I can relate to certain things that people say, and just trying to get a clear understanding of what it is that they say. Like, it's no BS. The thing that I gotta be is real with them, because what that allows me to do is talk to everybody on my team and fill them in on what people are saying, how they're feeling, what they want, but also reading between the lines for the things that they say. So I guess the best way to answer your question is just through listening and being as patient as possible. For me, I mean, I'd rather answer the question from like a gamer standpoint or from where I'm at. What I'd want is like, rather than a resurgence of, you know, games coming back into the mix, like just like how they were in you know, the good old days in the arcades and internet cafes and stuff. What I'd rather want is kind of an emergence in, you know, more evangelists, more leaders, more people who want to, you know, work overtime to throw a tournament for all their friends and homies. Make it more accessible for somebody who's never played a game to feel welcome to come to these types of tournaments. Have these streams welcome people who've never seen that type of content. You know, they could be League of Legends players, StarCraft players. I think nowadays people are starting to recognize that we are having like new viewers come into the mix, whether they're coming to the events, watching our streams, watching YouTube videos of like these celebrity players and stuff like that. We need to recognize that this is happening, but also educate them on the gift that we have, which is the whole fighting game community. That's the one thing I think we need to keep pure. And no matter how it is, like, let's not let that competitive drive be the thing that takes away from this amazing gift that we've all been given. And if we can all be like that, you know, to the extent of being more patient, embracing somebody who's never been introduced to this thing, I think we could go a long way. And, you know, we won't ever have to watch the documentary of the life and death of the fighting game community. I think through creation of content, people adapting to how they can share and express the stories, but bottom line, you know, having people understand the passion that comes with this. I see no difference in our passion towards video games towards somebody else who, you know, who plays sports, who practices every day to have that end goal of maybe being in the NBA or NFL. There's no difference because you still have to put in your work and your time. If that understanding is kind of let out to the people, I think more people will be kind of open to giving it a shot. Because this thing takes a lot of time. You know, whether you want to be a top player or you want to be like these top tier streamers, all of this takes so much time and a lot of effort and a lot of work, a lot of money. Let's be real right now. But as long as you got the right intention to do good for the people that you love and that you're around, I think we're in a good spot. But let's not get bought into, you know, esports versus fighting games. You know, we're all one thing. We're doing one thing, man. We're just playing video games. So that's my long, short answer.